All right, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats as we get started with this week's Coaches Luncheon, the post-homecoming edition. My name is Hapdam Kaleta, Sports Information Director for the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and I'm honored to be here for another week's edition of the Coaches Luncheon. We had a wonderful homecoming week, amazing festivities, a lot going on campus. Ended up with the game not going the way we wanted it to, 45-14 loss against Alabama A&M. And we will get the inside scoop from our first-year head coach, Cedric Thomas.
Just kind of recapping the weekend and just the week. Homecoming is always special, especially with me being an alumni here. Got a chance to see a lot of family and friends. I thought the kids did a decent job in the preparation part, but still some a few distractions here or there. It wasn't the best week that we had in the past 3 weeks. Kind of got off campus a little bit, to Little Rock, and tried to get away from it. And, just came out offensively, our worst game by far of the year. I think we turned it over first 4 times out of 6 possessions. Defensively, we kind of made some big-time stops early on the offense, this maybe second or third, in the league. Competed on a high level early. From a defensive standpoint, and offense just couldn't get clicking. Had great field position. We turned it over 4th and 1 on about the 50. Just a normal play that Taylor Porter's made all year. He dropped the football, deep in their territory on about the 25. Skylar, drops the snap, and we end up having to punt. We just didn't play well. That was a disappointing part, because the last 3 or 4 weeks we really just start to turn the corner and play a good brand of football, and with everybody coming back home, we at least wanted to put a good product out that we know we could, and we didn't do that. Second half, we come out and we move the football, and we can't convert a 3rd and 1, and it was pretty much down here from there. Still proud of the kids, the way they fought all the way through defensively. Those guys have really gotten better week in and week out, especially with some major absences, injuries and dismissals, just on that side of the ball. But boy, you talking about, we turn it over, they run it down to about the 15 or 20, and, defense bow their backs and get a big time stop and end up giving a field goal. I think that might have put it at 38. But they fought, and that's all I can ask for them, right now. Offensively, I think we just kind of got caught up in the trap. I got to do a better job, to get them guys to understand that, closest, and more victories, that ain't it right now. We're doing it the right way from a practice standpoint and preparation standpoint, but now it's time to win. But we can't turn it over. We can't have a lack of focus on turnovers, interceptions, and field goals. We got to, score in the red zone, and we got to score touchdowns. So, I'm going to make sure the offensive staff understand that, it's not about who's second in rushing or one in rushing and third in receiving right now. It's about winning, only because we're doing it the right way. Early it wasn't about the wins and losses per se, because there was a lot of things in-house that we had to get taken care of. But we kind of got those things situated. Now it's about us, seizing the moment, not turning the football over, not giving up the big plays, and coming out with some of these, some of these games on the right side of it. But I just think we got caught up in, being close to the previous weeks. Didn't have our best week of preparation, and that's all on me. It started with me and it ended with me, and I'll make sure starting tonight, we continue to, take care of the little things, ball security, eye discipline, and just the overall facet of this game. We got 2 more weeks, 2 huge weeks, and we're going to continue to get better, and we're going to work our tails off. And it won't be no quitting. It won't be sitting out and worrying about the spring or winter condition. It's going to be about Southern. And continue to write in this journal as we go forward and getting better. So, excited about the way they fought and the way they played for 4 quarters, but disappointed in the execution part. And I know Coach Gales, I have those guys chomping at the bench offensively. Offensive line play, we didn't play well. We didn't pick up, some of the exotic looks that they gave us. And, we got to come in and, starting with me, I got to, make sure that, we prepare to the best of our ability. So that falls on me, and I'll do a better job this week of making sure everybody understands the mission. We just can't have those type of performances, whether homecoming, first game, last game. You play 3 weeks of good quality football, and you got to continue to get better. We can't take or afford to take any steps back, and that's what we did, and that's the most disappointing part, because a lot of it had nothing to do with A&M, it was all just in-house thing that's correctable. So, we got to keep pushing forward, and keep getting better. But we also, we got to get a win, and that's what we are, going to strive for and continue to do as we go out to practice tonight.
All right, thank you, Coach Thomas. At this time, we will take questions from the audience regarding this past weekend's game against Alabama A&M.
O.C. Brown, Pamela Commercial. All right, Coach, going into halftime, I believe it was like you guys punted like 4 or 5 times and had the turnover there. Could you just talk about those stall drives and punting the ball and how that affected the time of possession, giving them time, to move the offense?
It was really frustrating. I think this is probably one of the first times this year that I actually had to say some choice words to the offense, because I was very disappointed. But I think they just, like I said, they've been scoring a lot of points these last couple of weeks, and I don't think they was, mentally locked in. Like I said, that's on me. For us to just, drop the football on those many times, those wasn't big time hits. We just, the lack of concentration and a lack of focus. And I just tell them, the example I gave them is they had $1,000 in their pocket. I don't care what's going on, they ain't gonna drop that $1,000. So that football is $1,000. Don't drop the football. And I was very stern and had a few choice words, because that's how adamant I was about that. We worked too hard to get to where we are to have relapses as it relates to that, and that's just total focus. So I got to make sure that they understand that we're not good enough to just show up, and more victories ain't it. We got to take care of the football. So we went in the second half, at halftime, and that was my first thing, talking to ones handling the ball. That's Taylor, that's Kobe, that's Skylar. We got to secure the football to give ourselves a chance, and we didn't do that. And that's just our focus, because nobody even touched them. They just wasn't paying attention to details and taking it for granted, and the ball fall down. So it's just tough on Coach Gales to call plays when we turn the football over, and we got to secure it, but we also got to keep the chain moving, get the defense off the field. We played good enough defensively the first half, to put the offense in some good situations, and the offense just got to continue to do what they're doing and not read the newspaper clippings or looking at these stats. Now that we got a couple people that's, head of some statistical categories, at the end of the day, now it's about winning, because we're preparing well enough and we're playing well enough. It ain't about the individual, accolades. It's about the team goal, and, we got to win.
Okay. Now, as you sit down with the defensive coordinator, Coach Navarro there, and you guys noticed those third quarters, another 21-point third quarter by Alabama A&M. What are you guys seeing on film that's allowing those teams to have those big third quarters?
Just plays. You look at the play. We got 4 kids that's right by the ball carrier, and that ball keep moving. So we continue to put them in situations, that they can have opportunity to make them plays, and then eventually, them young men got to make those plays. And we didn't do that. We had some of our best tacklers around that, on the long run, and we just overrun it. The kid cut the football back and, go 75 yards. And I'll take some ownership of it, but I ain't going to take all of it. No, not on that one, because, I got 4 kids right there. Coach Navarro did a good job schematically of putting his offense defense in a great position. And then we just got to make them plays. Them the same plays we made 2 weeks ago and the week prior. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, on Saturday, we can't get it on the turf. So we'll try to continue to, we will continue to, put them in great situations, but they got to still put the emphasis on, hey, we college football players, we out here and we got to get that ball down.
Porter being the lead rusher and SWAC, seems like they kind of keyed in on him. He didn't have 50 yards, I don't believe. So Jamon Peterson came in and did a good job. Could you just talk about what they did to stop Porter and slow him down?
When you give a kid, I think he had about 100 carries in 3 games. At 5'8", 5'7", 175 pounds, he banged up. No disrespect to A&M. They didn't do anything out of the norm that no other defense did. It's just certain plays and certain ways the kid can't cut. He can't. You see him run the ball out of bounds, where in the previous weeks he's jump cutting, he's making moves, but he can't. The kid fighting his tail off, and he just banged up. And like I told Coach, we're not gonna put a kid in there for our own personal gain. If he can give us what he can give us, that's great. But it's next man up, and that's what Jamon did. He came in and gave us a spark. Running the football and made some big plays for us. You know, it wasn't anything, you know, you're supposed to key for the leading rusher of the conference, but it wasn't anything schematically. You know, Taylor just got some nagging injuries with his ankles that, you know, he got to continue to get treated, but it says a lot for him to continue to go out there and fight for his team. But like I said, it's next man up, and we got to get the next 2 or 3 running backs in rotation to be able to take some of that pressure, you know, off us in the run game.
Okay, now defensively, Glass was 21 for 42. Secondary, it gave us some big plays, but you know, for the most part, they were solid there until thing just broke open there. Could you just talk about, you know, the progression they're making and how much of a hand, how much are you putting your hand on the defense now?
You know, it's been about the same, you know, but this, I think we played, 7 or 8 weeks, and it's the 4th defensive secondary rotation. You know, Sean still had to go back to safety. You know, the last 3 weeks he been at corner, you know, so we got a kid, you know, dismissal here, a hurt injury here, you know, and it's just, the secondary is depleted just as far as bodies. You look out there and we got 8 defensive backs in the stretch line. You know, we started the camp with 18, you know, and that's tough, and them same guys got to play all those snaps and on the kicking game. So, you know, they fighting their tails off for us. You know, Sean had a great game, and he's doing everything he can. You look at Stanley, you know, Stanley ended up playing, you know, a bunch of plays at the corner, true freshman. You got Tavon Lil John, you know, out there, true freshman. Sean Steele and Corey Bell has been about the most consistent, but we had to move Sean, you know, come Friday because Isaiah Johnson, you know, he can't go. We don't find that out until, you know, pregame warm-up. So my hat goes off to Coach Quinn and that group, man. You talking about a group of 18, from Blake Connor to Rico Merriweather to Nigel Canada to all them guys, you know, being gone. Ronald Rocket, and now he out there, you know, fighting his tail off, giving his kids a chance with true freshmen walk-on kids, and, you know, they playing their tails off for him. We just got to get a little more depth and, you know, get some guys back.
All right, now I took a look back last year. Alcorn probably gave up 21 points average a game. I think gave up 22 to Alabama A&M, the same quarterback. Could you just talk about how difficult it is week to week giving up those large amount of points, and that's just something you're not used to?
Oh yeah, for me, you know, it's frustrating, very, because I come from, you know, a defensive background that we didn't give up a lot, you know, late. But what people don't see and don't know, you know, doing that 2-8 and 4-7, yeah, we gave up a lot of plays also. And, you know, I just tell the guys, it's just, you know, I've been there, you know, with Warren Gatewood, who was All-American, and went to Green Bay, and Anthony Williams, who was a, you know, All-American. Those guys played as true freshmen, and we went 2-8 and 4-7. But one thing about them freshmen, they end up being All-Americans, seniors and juniors. And, you know, you look out there, once again, on defense, you got one senior, and that's Kevin Carter. Everybody else is freshmen and sophomores, you know, and they fighting their tails off for us. They just young and you know, not as experienced, and they playing as good as they can for us, and they fighting their tails off, you know. It was some alarming that I saw when the seniors, you know, came out, and the coaches told me that when they had the senior, you know, recognition, we had 18 defensive players in the meeting room without the seniors. You know, 18 defensive players. That ain't a lot of football players now that's without the seniors being in the room. So, you know, that says a lot about the depth that we have right now, you know, just on the defensive side of the ball. And the recruiting part that we got to do to kind of get those numbers up. But the good thing, out of those 18, all of them played. So, you know, from that standpoint, you know, the future look bright and will be bright. You know, we just got to get some bodies in, you know, with them, but continue to, you know, get better with what we got. So we look forward, you know, for the journey and continue to get better. Ain't nobody going to feel sorry for us, and we don't feel sorry for ourselves. We got to stop people and give our offense opportunity to have some success.
Thank you, Coach.
LaRon Marbley, Deltaplex Radio. How you doing, Coach?
Oh, I'm blessed.
All right. And I may have missed it in the beginning, but the team came out kind of, I guess you say stale, for lack of a better word. Do you think homecoming had a lot to do with that, or is just, as you said earlier, not being focused?
Yeah, it was just focused. You know, we was away from homecoming. You know, homecoming. We really didn't have a part of, you know, that. We was able to get away, had a good, you know, intimate setting, you know, in Little Rock. They just weren't focused. We got caught up in the trap. You know, you scored 40 against, you know, Grambling. You scored 40 against Valley, and all of a sudden you read newspaper clippings and you're looking at all these stats, and they forgot about a good A&M team that was coming here playing good football. Because you look at the plays, those was mishandled and miscues on nobody even touching them. That's just you being lack of, being focused and locked in. And I didn't do a good job of preparing them, keeping them away from it. So, I got to, amp up that to get them to understand that, more victories ain't good enough and being close ain't good enough. When you're doing what you're supposed to do and the preparation is as such, then you deserve to win the football game. But you can't win the football game if you turn it over 4 out of the first 6 possessions and you give up, 75-yard runs and you give up, 50-yard plays in the pass game. So I think it was just a learning experience from the standpoint of, we can't get satisfied in individual accolades and nobody's going to lay down for us because they see how we are improving, and nobody wants to be the one that, let UAPB upset them. So they looking at us like, they ain't sorry. Them dudes can play and they tough. The record don't show it, and we got to understand it. We got to be able to take, people's best shots when they do come players and we play them.
And Coach, with that being said, not really chaotic, but it's been kind of up and down during the season. I know you've had to deal with a lot of issues with players and setting in your mentality here at the stadium. Is it kind of leveling off for you? Is it kind of settling in?
Yeah, just starting to get to the point where it's consistent. It's just just from a body standpoint, like I talked about. Sean Steele and Corey Bell has been playing great the last 4 weeks, and then right before kickoff, you got to move Sean Steele to safety again, and then from there you got to move Stanley Bentley, who's a true freshman, to the corner, and Shafon Alcorn. Your nickel package goes out the window, your dime package goes out the window. So it's like the 4th or 5th week within the year that right before kickoff is some internal changes, which is tough. And like I said, I take my hat off to Coach Quinn because he constantly moving pieces around, making no excuses and putting the product out there, that I don't think any coach in America come in and do no different. I honestly believe that in my core for what we've been through on the back end. We decimated. I look over there, like I said, at pregame, doing pregame DB drills, and there's 8 defensive backs over there. It was 18 guys, for the Morehouse game, and you sitting there with 8. That's unheard of in college football. But we're gonna keep plugging at it. We're gonna keep working, and we're gonna come on the other end of this thing for long.
Last question, Coach. With it being the end of the season, last couple of games, how do you weigh out the importance of course, your seniors, some of them will never play again, and you have freshmen or younger players that you're trying to build for the future. How do you weigh playing those guys in the last couple of games?
They've been playing. They've been playing since week 5. It wasn't by design. It was just the right thing to do. They continue to get better and work. And my thing was, if we got a senior and a sophomore, a senior and freshman that's close, then that's a no-brainer. Let's grow the babies up. Let's take these bumps in the road right now, knowing that eventually these training wheels gonna come off, these freshmen gonna turn into big boys, and they get playing experience, and they have. Like I said, you look at that defense one time, it was 1 senior, 7 freshmen, and 4 sophomores. And they playing their tails off, and we're gonna continue to work, continue to get better, and but it was also maybe 50 recruits at the game, so that's a major part of the restoration and the restoring of just the program in general, is to recruit, some of those bodies to help the guys that's returning. But we're going to keep fighting until this thing over. Ain't nobody going to quit. And we on a journey to get this win because they're doing the right things now. Earlier, if you heard me speak, it wasn't about winning and losing because we wasn't doing it the right way. And now those kids are doing it the right way. They're preparing hard. They're doing things right in the community. On Thursday with Omar going to some of the local schools, reading to some of the elementary kids, they getting all their study hall hours, so they doing it the right way. Now we just got to take care of the football, limit these big plays, and win a football game.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
Excuse me. Did Alabama A&M do anything surprising strategically, or did you believe they did exactly what you expect them to?
They did do some different things to stop Taylor. They kind of put 2 guys on him, and try to get the football out of his hand. So hats goes off to Coach Maynard. He's won a bunch of championships and a great defensive mind, and you got a guy that's got 1,000 yards with 3 games left. And they did some things schematically, and we kind of sputtered early. But once we kind of figured it out, we just didn't do a good job, like I said, of ball security. We got too many 3rd and 1s where, we either fumble the ball or we can't get 1 yard, and that don't make no sense. You got 1,000-yard back, everybody on the offensive line average almost 300 yards. We got to be able to muscle up enough intestinal fortitude to be able to get 1 yard. So, they did do some things differently, but, not for the outcome to be as such.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions regarding the A&M game? OC.
Coach Perry had went out for maybe a couple plays. It wasn't nothing serious, was as far as his injury.
Nah, I just got the wind knocked out of him, but so he'll be back. He'll be back.
All right. Thank you.
All right. At this time, we will move on to this Saturday's game against Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Kickoff is scheduled at 4 p.m. So we will take questions against Southern.
First off, Coach, how much have you seen of Southern this year, and could you just address what you think of them just by watching their film?
Yeah, I've seen all of them. Not just this year, but me and Coach Odoms, we done had some battles. Started out, sputtering early, trying to find the trigger man, and got a local kid from right here that won the last 3. Very exciting, very electrifying with the ball in his hand, and kind of giving him a spark in some of the run game stuff. Very sound defensively. I think they may be top 3 in total defense. Big up front, athletic. Coach is a defensive guy, so those guys always play well on the defensive side of the ball. And we got our hands full. They in the hunt. They went out. They represent this side for for the championship in the SWAC, which is a lot of motivation to them. And we gonna go out. And we're going to play our brand of football to win a football game. We ain't worrying about trying to upset and be a spoiler and all that. We just got to continue to work, continue to get better. And it's one more, game for us to continue to write in this journey and get better as a football team and try to, get a win. But we don't need the motivation of trying to upset them. We need the motivation that, we play well, we practice well, we do things right. Then we can win a football game.
Okay. Now, the quarterback that you're speaking of is Darius Skelton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know how much Skelton was recruited here, but like you said, he is a Pound of High state championship winning quarterback. Could you just talk about his past 2 games and what you've seen from him that allow him to take the job?
He kind of commands the offense, but dynamic with the ball in his hand. He may not be the best thrower, but can make a lot of people miss in space. Runs the football well. And, I'm a product of this league, so I don't care if you're from Florida, Georgia, California. You just want to see these young kids, have opportunity, especially going to junior college and coming back to have that 4-year opportunity. So, some may make a big deal out of it because he can find Bluff, but for me, it don't matter if he was from Greenville, Florida, Georgia. It don't matter, just to see that kid journey from here to go to junior college and bounce back, and me being a product of the junior college sector is always dear for me, so I root for all of them to have success, not just in football, but in life. But for me, we're going to play him as if he was the quarterback of any other, state. But, athletic kid, come from a great background, and he just so happened to, be from the area, in which I'm, got the head job at.
Okay, now you guys have put out some pretty good performances on the road this year. Could you just talk about the next 2 games and just banding together, just being you guys on the road, and how big that'll be for you?
I think, I think that's the reason why we kind of play a little better, because we kind of get away. You don't have to deal with, distractions. We can kind of hone them in. You can kind of keep them quiet, and kind of monitor that part just from a focus standpoint. I think it's a direct reflection of us playing better on the road. So I kind of like, that part to be able to, go and be, in solitude and keep them, focused in. But we just got to mature, and have that same mindset when we at home. But on the road, it's a way for us to get away, and we expect them to do the exact same thing. But it starts tonight. We got to have a great week of practice. We got a great night of practice, get to know these guys that we're going against, and come out with a great performance to win the football game.
All right, thank you.
What do you believe would be the biggest challenge going into the Southern game?
Just the physicality up front. You know, we got to be able to set the line of scrimmage, you know, and run the football. You know, like I said, they got a great defensive line. They big, they massive. You know, they try to maul you and be physical. So us creating an attitude of, you know, not getting pushed back, not being bullied, you know, that's gonna be, you know, that's gonna be the first thing. And then the second thing is us defensively, it's just corralling Skelton. You know, you get the football. You know, one thing about him being quarterback, he touches the football every play. So we got to do a great job of keeping 1 and 2 guys on him, making him, you know, throw that football to other people, and getting that football out of his hand.
Coach, you talked a little bit about it defensively for Southern. What do you see defensively that, without giving away your game plan, of course, but what do you see that you can do offensively, maybe to get past the Southern defense?
You run the football. You know, I think, you know, we can run the football. I know we can run the football against anybody on the schedule. You know, we just didn't. We wasn't hungry Saturday. You know, we wasn't focused in. We had too much other things going on, and it started with the offensive line. And Coach Teasley's done a great job with those guys, but we had more MAs Saturday than we did, you know, in the last 8 games. And that's just, like I said, that's just a lack of focus, being content with, you know, 2 overtime losses and an extra point being missed. So we're going to reel them back in and get them to understand, you know, the importance of just being focused and physical. So I know we can run the football, and, you know, we can throw the football. You know, we've given up 7 sacks the whole year. You know, that's almost unheard of. So them guys doing a great job from a protection standpoint. That's FIU, South Dakota State. As bad as them scores look, nobody touched the quarterback but 7 times the whole year. So we can protect and throw the football, you know, and they can give them time. We just got to reel them back in and just go back to the basic fundamentals of just, hey, look, this we throw, we catch, we tackle, we run, and, you know, the outcome will take care of itself.
Other questions for Coach Thomas, please, for the Jaguars game? All right, before we end, we'd like to add a note that freshman quarterback Skylar Perry, if you guys didn't know yet, was added to the Stats FCS Jerry Rice watch list, which is the freshman of the year. So keep that in mind. Also, Taylor Porter is still leading the SWAC in rushing yards. He's the only 1,000-yard rusher so far this season. So another hats off to our team. And if we don't have any more questions, we'd like to thank everybody for coming on behalf of our Chancellor, Dr. Alexander, AD Melvin Hines II, and Aramark, of course, Mr. Avery, Miss Linda, Miss Rossi does such a good job. We appreciate everyone. And we'll see you Saturday in Baton Rouge, 4 o'clock. Thank you.